I think I've been so narcissistic over the years in my ability to forgive. I used to struggle with being able to see the good in people, and I always felt like there was, always a bad characteristic inside of every single person. I struggled a lot um, being able to handle if someone did me wrong in any sort of way, if they would say something behind my back or say something in front of me, um, or do things that are just unexcusable. And I feel like I would take those problems to the extreme. I just couldn't find a way to move on from it or accept what they did. I've always taken the route of trying to find a way to get my revenge, to make myself feel better. And the scary part is this problem is so unhealthy. It basically made it where I couldn't see why people did what they did. And it always took me away from seeing the perspective of the other person. And it did lead to me having severe trust issues in any person that I would meet throughout my life because I always felt like they had something inside of them that was inherently bad. And I think this problem stems from me not being able to forgive myself. Um, I feel like I've lost friends due to me not being emotionally available when they needed me to be. I don't think I've been a great person myself in being able to handle with another person's emotions. And I don't really think it's only emotions. I think I've been so useless when it comes to being there for people, you know, when when they need it, regardless of what it may be. I just feel like I'm dragging people down when I'm with them. I feel like, like an anchor. People could do so much better if they're just not with me. And, you know, my friends, those that I talk to on a daily basis, I am very sure that they recognize that and they know that about me. I know they'll never admit it. I know they'll never actually talk to me about it, but it's frustrating that I can't go back and I can't fix those problems because time's up, time's over. I can't do anything about it. And I've lost a special person in my life that I honestly don't know where I would be if she wasn't there for me. I don't know if I would be alive. I don't know if I would be able to make this video if it wasn't for her. This person not only gave me confidence, but was somehow able to help me throughout every emotional burden that I had. And I honestly can't thank this person enough for being such a rock when it came to making me feel better when I needed it the most, when I needed her the most. But I was just never able to reciprocate the same emotional care as she did for me. I struggled so much with my own emotions, and I felt like I struggled even more with hers. I struggled a lot with emotional overload. At that time, it created a sense of immaturity by me that I know if I focused on quicker, she would still be in my world. She'll still be alive. It's hard losing someone you love because of your own emotional indecency. And I do still I think about those problems today, and I still have those problems today. And I feel like forgiving myself isn't is a extremely long process of reflecting over your regrets. These regrets have made me wonder, why do I do certain things? Why do I let my emotions affect my friendships and relationships, way more than it should? Why do I let my emotions dictate how I am towards others so much? And honestly, it is frustrating not being able to find an answer for my own actions. Sometimes it just happens. I do things without really thinking about them. It does lead me being lost or empty because I know I wasn't there for her. I wasn't, I still can't forgive myself to this day. But over these years, I've realized that I'll never find peace if I don't forgive. I need to start that process. And keeping these grudges, these burdens, these regrets, and overall all these actions not only bring you down, but it ruins your perception of others. I think you can eventually forgive people because forgiveness is what really leads to self-love. It leads to self-care. It really helps with that. And it is normal that people will act out of the ordinary sometimes. You know, Sometimes you might act out of the ordinary, but it is important to try to find the light in things regardless of how bad it might be. Not all bad things are meant to bring you down, but to push you to be better. But that was my app session for today. See you guys next.